On behalf of the American Osteopathic Association, thank you for joining us for this very special occasion, our A.T. Still Memorial Presentation and Awards Ceremony. It is a privilege to welcome you as we gather to honor the enduring legacy of Dr. Andrew Taylor Still, the visionary founder of osteopathic medicine, and to recognize individuals whose work reflects the principles he established. Dr. Still transformed the practice of medicine by emphasizing the body's innate capacity for healing and the importance of prevention and commitment to treating the whole person. His pioneering vision continues to guide and inspire a profession that grows stronger each year through discovery, compassion, and service. That legacy lives on in the physicians, the educators, students, and advocates who advance osteopathic medicine every day. Your presence demonstrates the strength of our community and the shared respect we hold for those who make a difference. Thank you for being here and for sharing in this celebration of excellence, service, and the enduring spirit of osteopathic medicine. Now it's my pleasure to introduce my selection for this year's A.T. Still Memorial Lecture, Richard LaBaere II, D.O. Dr. LaBaere serves as Assistant Dean for Graduate Medical Education and Designated Institutional Officer at A.T. Still University, Kirksville College of Osteopathic Medicine. He is also a clinical adjunct professor in family medicine and provides leadership for the Department for the Advancement of Osteopathic Medicine. Throughout his career, Dr. LaBaere has demonstrated a strong commitment to medical education, physician training, and the advancement of osteopathic medicine. In his leadership roles, he helps guide the development of GME programs, promotes osteopathic education and care for all, and supports the next generation of physicians as they prepare to serve their communities. Please join me in welcoming Dr. LaBaere to deliver the 2026 A.T. Still Memorial Lecture.
Fellow osteopathic physicians, students, residents, and all who champion our osteopathic profession, I express my most heartfelt gratitude to be with you today to share some personal reflections and hopefully stir inside you a call to action. I will ask you a few questions throughout the presentation and encourage you to think about them, even jot a few notes. To be completely honest, I was surprised beyond belief when our AOA president, Dr. Robert Piccinini, called me and he said, "I have a favor to ask of you." Then he paused and added, "I'd like you to give the A.T. Still Memorial Lecture in July." I was entirely speechless. Fortunately, I recovered my voice and my composure, and that's why I'm here with you today. Thank you, Bob. You are and always will be my dear friend and esteemed colleague. The A.T. Still Memorial Lecture compels us to remember and reflect deeply on our founder and our profession, his enduring philosophy and his groundbreaking work. Every single one of us in this room is here today because Dr. Still was innately curious. He was profoundly unsatisfied with the status quo of medicine in his day, and he chose to act, to serve, and to persist. As I mentioned, a core goal of this lecture is a call to action. I'm asking that each of you find or perhaps rediscover your own personal connection to Dr. Still through this talk, and then consciously and deliberately choose to act, to serve, and to persist. We are compelled to examine the very foundations of our practice and our profession and to consider how these same forces must be brought into play today. We each have a vital role to play, both as individuals and as a collective community. We live and work within the House of Medicine and also our professional home, the American Osteopathic Association. We stand alongside our state, specialty societies, county societies, our National Board of Osteopathic Medical Examiners, our American Association of Colleges of Osteopathic Medicine, and every single one of our schools of osteopathic medicine across the country. Collectively, these institutions and each of us reflect our unique identity to the world. Although we as humans love to debate our differences, we in fact have so much more in common. What is universal among us is a profound unity that serves as our foundation and breathes life into our philosophy through our interconnectedness. This foundation commits us to a rigorous scientific approach, establishes true health as our ultimate goal, and recognizes the natural, spiritual dimension that defines our humanity. We must yield this connectedness wholeheartedly, embracing both our sameness and our diversity to advance patient care and further elevate our profession. Our shared identity rests upon the bedrock of this philosophy and practice, discovered and brought to life by our founder, A.T. Still, in 1874. But he didn't stop there. He kindled our growth and our identity by founding the very first school of osteopathic medicine and continued advancing osteopathic practice. Now, not all of us are called to invent a brand new approach to medicine or lay the groundwork for an entirely new profession. However, every single one of us can take discrete, small, deliberate actions with clear intent, actions that breathe life into Dr. Still's philosophy for the direct betterment of our learners and our neighbors. We must choose to take these steps with genuine enthusiasm. Colin Powell once said, "Perpetual optimism is a force multiplier." So let's take these steps together, advancing osteopathic medicine with unyielding optimism, enthusiasm, and hope. Simply remembering A.T. Still and reflecting today is not enough. He was a man of deep reflection, constant learning, and yes, above all, he was a man of action. Dr. Still was deeply shaped by his upbringing, his parents, and the historic struggles of his time, and he responded by taking action. Take a moment to think about the actions you've taken to move yourself or others forward. We are shaped in the very same way. We must do the same. Reflect deeply, then choose steps that not only honor our history and our beliefs, but actively advance our care through education and through bold action. We must advance, educate, learn, and hold ourselves to the highest standards, modeling how A.T. Still served his neighbors and his community. To guide us, we'll examine three common principles: identity formation, education, and service. These guided A.T. Still and helped form our core osteopathic tenets. We will look at these principles through an individual lens, as well as through the lens of how our institutions keep the banner of the profession flying high in the breeze today and for many years to come. Each of us brings to our day-to-day personal and professional lives the unique summation of our past experiences and our genetic makeup. For A.T. Still, his life's blueprint, his identity, was deeply forged by the powerful role modeling of his parents, Abraham and Martha. His father, Abraham, was a remarkable figure of the late 1800s. Both a physician and a minister who traveled for weeks at a time to address the urgent needs of individuals and communities tending to body, mind, and spirit. He was guided by the medical training of his era, anchored by a deeply held spiritual foundation. Meanwhile, Dr. Still's mother, Martha, stayed home to ensure that the vital essentials of their household and their farm, nutrition, shelter, education, were completely provided for. Abraham Still set the stage by going out into the country to minister and doctor the whole person. But just as importantly, the essential foundational nature of women in osteopathic medicine began right there, rooted in the strength of Martha Still. Throughout the years, the osteopathic profession has successfully executed this exact same game plan. On an individual basis, my family experienced a beautiful example of this over 75 years ago. My grandfather, Albert LaBaere, was a farmer tilling the soil of a modest 40-acre farm. He was frequently visited by our local general practitioner, Francis Obenauer, D.O. Because my grandfather could not afford to take time away from his crops to go into town, into Mount Clemens, Michigan, for care, Dr. Obenauer did what osteopathic physicians do. He came out to the house and provided osteopathic treatment to my grandfather on the kitchen table. That is the definition of going out where you are needed. On a much larger scale, our profession continues to do the same today. When I graduated from Michigan State University College of Osteopathic Medicine in 1990, there were just 15 colleges of osteopathic medicine across the country. Today, there are 47 colleges of osteopathic medicine with 75 locations across 36 states. Our profession is intentionally placing these schools in areas of greatest need, going exactly where we're needed. We are breaking ground in rural states like Arkansas, Louisiana, Montana, and Idaho, while simultaneously serving the underserved populations in urban settings like Pittsburgh and Chicago. Furthermore, honoring that early legacy of Martha Still, women today make up greater than 50% of the entering osteopathic medical classes, meaningfully contributing to research, education, clinical care across every medical specialty. Half of the practicing DOs under 45 today are women, and 70% of the practicing female DOs graduated in the last 14 years. Our profession, as a profession, we have boldly leaned into our past and our identity. The critical question before us now is, how do we do this on an individual basis? Well, speaking for myself, I am the proud son of my dad, a teacher, principal, and school superintendent, and my mother, a dedicated nurse and caregiver. Every single day, I bring forward the optimism, hope, and relentless work ethic of my Belgian paternal grandparents, combined with the competence and caring of my maternal grandparents, who were both a general practitioner and a nurse. I bring all of this, every piece of my history, to my daily work as an osteopathic physician, educator, and administrator. I lean into it completely. The successes, the learnings, and my own personal lessons to improve. So I ask each of you today, what were the forces, the influences that brought you to this room? And more importantly, how do you lean into the person that you've become? When your patients, your students, and your colleagues look at you, what is it that they see? Dr. Still was not a man content to blindly accept the poor outcomes associated with the medical practices of his day. He was deeply heartbroken, yet fiercely driven by the devastating loss of his own children due to meningitis. Although he had initially learned the traditional practice of medicine from his father, Abraham, Dr. Still formally asked for a divorce from allopathic medicine. His deeply spiritual belief system, combined with his immersive learning from the culture of the Shawnee Indians, whom he and his father served together, emphasized a holistic, nature-based, and spiritual ecosystem. Through his early practice alongside his father, he gained direct and firsthand experience with both the application of this approach and the ultimate failure of the era's medical system. Rather than resigning himself to the status quo, he asked hard questions, intensely studied anatomy, discovered how observable facts and the laws of nature could guide an entirely new philosophy, the osteopathic philosophy. Having flung the banner of osteopathic medicine to the breeze in 1874, Dr. Still stood proudly as a nonconformist, a trait that meant he was not always welcome in traditional communities. After attempting to establish his practice in Macon, Missouri, he soon found that he was forced to move. Thankfully, for all of us, he ultimately chose to settle in Kirksville, Missouri. His vast knowledge, relentless curiosity, and unyielding drive to understand nature helped him see the profound truth that the osteopath was only a human engineer who should understand all the laws governing his engine and thereby master disease. He was constantly striving to refine his understanding and improve his approach to helping patients, dedicated to becoming the absolute best engineer possible. His fundamental approach was to explore and always look for a better way. A.T. Still illustrated this progressive mindset by reflecting on his own upbringing, noting, "My father was a progressive farmer and was always ready to lay aside an old plow if he could replace it with one better constructed for its work. All through life, I have ever been ready to buy a better plow." He was curious, he was unrelenting, and his patience truly meant everything to him. As he so powerfully put it, "My patient's recovery was more to me than the dollars. And I love my fellow man because I see God in his face and in his form." What would it look like if we were deliberate in improving just 1% every single day, focusing our collective energy entirely for the purpose of helping our neighbors? For Dr. Still, developing his own individual skills was never going to be enough. Through powerful partnerships and deep support within the Kirksville community, he made the monumental decision to open the world's first osteopathic school. The American School of Osteopathy opened its doors in 1892. Deeply influenced by his mother, Martha, A.T. Still became a fierce advocate for women in medicine, and specifically women in osteopathic medicine. He was quick to champion the belief that women had just as much sense as men, and as a direct result, his historic first class included 6 women out of a class of 17 students. Furthermore, within his school, he firmly declared and set uncompromising standards for medical training. He meticulously designed the content, the curriculum, and the timeline. In his brief article, "Our School, Not a Diploma Mill," he described how the first year of education firmly began the endowment of knowledge, while the second year focused on teaching the soul of the science. He proudly stated that his school had built a sterling reputation, a school that all Americans could be proud to speak of in any part of the world, a legacy that remains profoundly true today. He made it explicitly clear that these were the standards, and he was not going to deviate from them. I am profoundly proud to have received my Doctor of Osteopathic Medicine degree from the Michigan State University College of Osteopathic Medicine in 1990, and to have served now as a faculty member for more than 25 years at our founding school, A.T. Still University, Kirksville College of Osteopathic Medicine. Truly, I feel deeply blessed. This foundational commitment to standard setting and core competencies was born early on, and it directly informed the creation and evolution of our primary institutions: the American Osteopathic Association, the American Association of Colleges of Osteopathic Medicine, and the National Board of Osteopathic Medical Examiners. These vital organizations take their cue directly from A.T. Still himself. Today, these organizations continue to set rigorous standards that uphold the premium quality of education and clinical care delivered by every member of our profession. Uncovering and applying facts, paying close attention to our patients, and always looking to improve, both as individual osteopathic physicians and within our professional organizations, has directly led to that remarkable expansion of our schools to 75 locations. It is the reason osteopathic physicians hold full practice rights, privileges, and boundless opportunities throughout our country and internationally alike. So I ask you this question: how are you putting your deeply held beliefs into action, setting unyielding standards, and actively advancing our care, advancing the health of our community, and advancing the future of our education? What else contributed to the monumental success of our profession, envisioned and brought to life by Dr. A.T. Still? The answer is simple: service. Service is deeply baked into our osteopathic DNA. It began in the 1800s with Dr. Still, who served his community and his country in the Kansas State Legislature, the Kansas Cavalry, and the Kansas Free State Militia, protecting anti-slavery families from violent border attacks. He and his family did not just hold beliefs, they actively spoke out against slavery and defended those beliefs with their lives. This legacy of stepping up and stepping in where there's a profound human need began with our founder. While living at the Shawnee Mission in Kansas, Dr. Still and his father provided direct medical care to those around him. It was there that he learned nature's healing ways through the Shawnee's use of plants, and it was there that he was granted the unique opportunity to study human anatomy. From these experiences, he refined his nature-based approach and developed the healing touch that forms the literal foundation of osteopathy. He served others by educating the very first generation of osteopathic providers, and then faithfully passed those hard-earned skills down to the next generation. Both Dr. Still and our profession are fundamentally relational. We have grown through multiple dimensions of service, always in deep connection with others. We each provide service to the patient, our neighbor, our healthcare system, our professional societies, and the AOA. Our patients and communities value and see this dedication. It is this exact commitment, service beyond self-interest, that has fueled our expansive growth in numbers and in global influence. For me, personally, providing service beyond the patient in front of me or the student in my office did not always come naturally. It was in the late 1990s that my boss at the time, Dr. Bob Sutton, who eventually went on to help develop the Pacific Northwest University College of Osteopathic Medicine, gave me a deliberate nudge to get more involved. Bob is a PhD who had been deeply exposed to the power of osteopathic medicine at Grandview Hospital in Dayton, Ohio. He brought me to a couple state medical education meetings, introduced me to some of his friends. Then Bob suggested that I seek a position on the board of the Michigan Association of Osteopathic Medical Educators. I took his advice, stepped up, and over the years, I eventually became its president. That initial nudge from Bob helped open doors into several leadership positions at the national level and decades of service to the American Osteopathic Association. That nudge enabled me to serve as the very first osteopathic physician on the ACGME Institutional Review Committee during our historic transition to a single accreditation system. That nudge led to my appointment to the National Board of Osteopathic Medical Examiners Board of Directors, where I eventually had the distinct honor to serve as the board's chair. Through service, I worked, I learned, and I grew in ways I could never have imagined in my youth. I am forever grateful to Bob Sutton and all the others, many of you in this room, who have believed in me along the way. The point of this story is simple. Look for those unexpected nudges to serve, especially when they push you out of your comfort zone, and then respond. It may make all the difference in the world for others and yourself. And just maybe you are being called to nudge someone else. Please do it. Let us address the uncomfortable truth. Providing service always comes with struggles, and it always demands a cost. Dr. Still himself struggled deeply, facing intense resistance that forced him to relocate his life from Macon to Kirksville. Our profession, too, has struggled throughout the 20th century just to achieve medical staff privileges in major hospital systems. Today, our students still face a struggle where certain residency programs stubbornly refuse to interview DOs. Struggles never feel pleasant in the moment, but struggles are both the laboring place and the birthing place of something new, something better. Look at our history. After leaving Macon, Dr. Still arrived in Kirksville, where his practice flourished, allowing him to build a school and advance the entire profession. Where we once struggled for basic hospital staff membership, we are now championing our own distinct licensing pathways, board certifications, and full practice recognition in every state. And where some of our students currently struggle in the fierce competition for certain specialties, feeling forced to take 2 separate licensure exams, I firmly believe we are in the midst of solving this struggle too. Our organizational growth mindset inspires us. Within our osteopathic community, through the coordinated efforts of the AOA, ACOM, and MBOME, we will continue to grow, we will overcome, and we will advance. These historic struggles, undertaken for the service of others, made us stronger in the past, and they will make us even stronger today. Dr. Still envisioned the provision of service through the synchronized utilization of his hands, his mind, and his heart. This is entirely consistent with osteopathic tenets, considering the body, mind, and spirit of the patient. Dr. Still famously said, "When a man works with his hands, he is a laborer. When he works with his hands and his mind, he is a craftsman. But when he works with his hands, his mind, and his heart, he is an artist." The interface of how we serve others as whole persons, fully engaging the whole person in front of us while remaining whole ourselves, is what brings true health to both the provider and the patient. Because of this, I must explicitly state a vital truth. I must prioritize my own well-being to be fully capable of serving others and serving their well-being. Self-care is not a luxury. It is a fundamental requirement of the osteopathic physician. So ask yourself and write down 1 or 2 things that you do today to care for yourself, so that you're fully capable to care for others. So as we look across this room today, we have to wonder, what would A.T. Still say to us if he were standing here today before this House of Delegates? What would he tell us regarding our collective hopes for the future? And for us, in this very moment, what definitive actions must we take today? He would tell us, first and foremost, to really see and be present to that amazing person in front of us, the patient and our colleague. He would charge us to relentlessly pursue the facts and to deeply appreciate the wonder of nature and the human engine, fully honoring the whole person every single time. He would tell us to listen intently, to make that person feel genuinely heard, and to never forget the profound power of the healing touch. He would say to remember our ultimate mission, to pursue health. He would remind us that health is the true object of the physician and that prioritizing health is an absolute requirement for the physician too. You must care for yourself and for the physician colleague sitting right next to you. He would direct us to work together. He would ask us to leverage our growing size, celebrate our diversity, and wield our interconnectedness. He would challenge us to develop and uphold and advance the highest standards, both individually as physicians and leaders and organizationally as a profession, always in the unyielding service of others. He would tell us to speak up, speak the truth, and never step lightly. He would tell us to leave a mark, our own distinct mark on history, and to continually, restlessly look for a better way. Let his timeless words challenge us to our core, and I quote, "Let us not be governed today by what we did yesterday, nor tomorrow by what we do today. For day by day, we must show progress." He would remind us that we are called to go exactly where our care is needed most. He would tell us to anticipate the inevitable struggles, to lean into the headwinds, and to figure out how to do it anyway. Because if history has taught us anything, it is that it will always be worth it. And lastly, our founder would close by encouraging us to demonstrate profound gratitude. In his beautiful 1910 address, he shared words that echo down through the generations, landing on us directly in this room today. I want to say that I extend my love to all persons who, by word or act, have encouraged the unfolding of the science of osteopathy. I thank you, one and all, from the inner depths of my soul, and I wish each of you Godspeed. Fellow colleagues, we're almost there. I promise. Fellow colleagues, let us lean into our identity. Let us answer the nudge. Let us advance this great profession together by choosing to act, to serve, and persist. Thank you.